Time to tune in. Now another Sports Center. It's a movement.
I want to take and talk real quickly about Mr. Matt Nagy. Now, for those who don't know where I'm coming from, Matt Nagy is they lost a very painful game to the Ravens. Now, yes, of course, Lamar Jackson was not there, but towards the last minute, I think 40-something seconds, the Bears had them beat. They had them beat. Andy Dalton was overthrowing 2 times where they were supposed to be very clutch plays that helped them win the game, and they were bad throws. But then on 4th down, he takes and he bombs it, and everybody, the audience is going crazy. You know, they're just Andy Dalton, and everybody's going nuts. They're high-fiving each other. It's just this warm embrace. And then Huntley hits the field, and he marches all the way down. Him and that wonderful gap tooth smile march all the way down the field, and they beat the Chicago Bears. And Mr. Nagy, you know, it's just a stinker after stinker with him. You know what I mean? And Chicago Bears fans, they deserve more. You talk about impatient fan bases, impatient organizations. I'm not saying they're in win now mode, but they're building off a young man by the name of Justin Fields, who shows a lot of promise, by the way. But I want to take and bring up a few names, and of course, candidates to replace Matt Nagy in 2022 is what the banner takes and says here at the bottom of the screen. But let's go over some of these names. I have Todd Downing, offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. Mike Kafka works for the Kansas City Chiefs. Also, Eric Bieniemy, that's another one. We have Nathaniel Hackett, who is a OC over for the Green Bay Packers. And then, of course, we got Mr. Byron Leftwich. Gentlemen, Isaac, Mike, let's open up the floor, and then I'll give my take to finish it off. What are you guys' thoughts on one of those gentlemen being a replacement for Mr. Matt Nagy?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been an advocate for Eric Bieniemy. I mean, just look at what he's done with Patrick Mahomes. You know, he came from Texas Tech, very raw, somebody that the talent was clearly there, but he needed to, clean some things up, and now he's become arguably a top 3 quarterback in the game right now. So, I mean, his resume speaks for itself, and he's a real player's coach. So I think that, his fire, his mentality is something that would be infectious for the organization. And I mean, honestly, call it bias, what you will. I want to see a black man succeed, man. I mean, you look at the NBA, just to kind of shift for a second, and how many African-American head coaches have been hired, and how many of those teams have subsequently had, better success as a result. And, I'm looking at you, NFL, like, why not? This is a guy that year after year is ready to be picked up and is still, without a head coaching job. If I'm Chicago, I say, you know what do we have to lose? You know what I mean? And with a young quarterback like Justin Fields, it's like, I feel like it's a glove fit. Like, he can work with his strengths, polish up his weaknesses, and, make him the first Ohio State quarterback worth a damn in the NFL, in my opinion, at least.
Love it. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so that would be my number one choice. That's like my number one choice for every job. I feel like he's the most deserving coach in waiting, essentially, right? But this is a name that I don't think you said. Maybe I'm wrong, but the one that I think maybe, if not Eric Bieniemy, would be Eric Daboll, which is like the Bills offensive coordinator. And the reason I say that is because you look at the similarities between those teams. You got a young mobile quarterback with a strong arm, right? Both teams. Not saying Justin Fields is, Josh Allen. I'm not saying that, but similarly, they can both move around, can kind of make plays. You want to have a team. That team is built to play defense, right?
Yeah.
The Bills are built to play defense. The Bears are always built to play defense. And they're both built to have a solid running game that everything's played off of. And Eric Daboll showed he can do that, right? So if Eric Bieniemy doesn't get the job, I think he 100% agree with every single thing Isaac said. But another name, just to not maybe say the same name, would be Eric Daboll, because he's built what the Bears are trying to be. And I think that would be kind of a seamless fit in that system as well.
Mike, thank you so much for bringing that up. That is one of the names I did not mention, but you bring up a fantastic point. And you look at the work that he's doing within the Buffalo Bills organization. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. So if you're looking for a head coach this offseason, this is a good year. This is a good year to get your turnaround in. And there's a name I want to bring. Eric Bieniemy is like I have him like tied for number one. Another name I want to take and bring up is offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, Todd Downing. Now why Todd Downing, Doug? What's going on? Well, here's the thing. I look at all these, right? Eric Bieniemy, what I love about him is that you look at all that he's accomplished over there, but also as well, who's their quarterback, right? Quarterback, it's Mr. Curly Fry hair himself, Mr. Patrick Mahomes, throwing Mahomes, man, best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion, right now, and then also as well, you have Nathaniel Hackett, offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, right? That's called what it is, Aaron Rodgers. How much is that him and how much is that Aaron Rodgers, right? Byron Leftwich. How much is that him and how much is that Tom Brady, right? Then Mike Kafka, same thing. He's in Kansas City. So, but again, I got to respect it because they find ways to win. They find ways to win. And when your quarterback, Pat Mahomes, is not getting it done, you find ways to win. But then I look at Todd Downing, and then, of course, it's not just, feed the ball to Derrick Henry, right? He's somebody who is going to definitely have a good running back presence in Chicago when draft time comes. There's a few really good running backs in this year's draft. He's going to put an emphasis on the O-line that's also going to take and ultimately protect Justin Fields, right? And then, of course, you look at the injuries in Ryan Tannehill and the low turnovers, and this guy's been with the organization for some time. So I look at all of that, and I'm like, man, this guy is it's a safe pick as far as being a coach. But then there's Eric Bieniemy, so I'm really, really torn. Me personally, I'd probably pick Eric Bieniemy. I really would like to see Eric Bieniemy in the navy blue and orange. It should definitely be interesting. So, y'all want to place a bet real quick? Are we on live as proof? No, I'm just kidding. $10.
I think it's gonna be Eric Bieniemy. Like that job makes so much sense for him. It's like you got your young quarterback. Yeah, it's like literally perfect. That would be my number one.
I love it. I love it. Yes, sir.
Don't overthink it, Chicago.
Just do it. Just do it. Don't let him stay around.
What happens when they overthink it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, Chicago, y'all need to get high off that Nagy pack in this offseason. Y'all got to do it, man.
Yeah,
prices are down.
Oh yeah, and Justin Fields, I mean, he shows promise, man. I mean, he makes some really, really good, exciting plays, but again, you don't want to shoot down a quarterback's confidence because this could have ripple effects for years to come. You could have be a Josh Allen and have a fit like rookie year. It's like, I don't know about him, and then second year comes, it's like, whoa, new guy, or actually, I should say more second to third year. And then same thing with the Lamar Jackson, off season can make you or break you. So you want to have all the pieces in play for the proper development when it comes to these quarterbacks.
Turn 100 for the touchdown, King Crown, gain inside, leading your town, hit you faster than the sound, bad boy, throw it down, yeah, I'm ill, not my will, don't cop a fill the house, listen to the roaring crowd, drop a like, comment down, Heisman, all the haters mouth, superhero hit them, wow, packing more action than bing, boom, bam, pow, touchdown for the win, we live, subscribe right now.